Today I want to talk about thankfulness. And I want us to think about how when we are thankful for the things that we have, it helps change and shift our perspective and the way that we perceive situations. I don't know whether you've ever been on the London Eye or maybe up a really tall building. You start at the bottom, obviously, and you can only see the things that are around you. But you go round and you go round, and the higher you get, the more you can see of London until you get to the top, and you have such a good view. You can see down the river, you can see buildings that you couldn't see before. When you get up high, it totally switches and changes your perspective, and you can see things that you didn't notice or even know maybe were there. And in a similar way, I want to suggest that when we are thankful for what we have, even if it's just small things, it helps to change and shift our perspective and the way that we see our current situations. I think sometimes that we can take things for granted. I think sometimes we take for granted the fact that we can have food on our plates, or that we can FaceTime someone that's a few hours away, or the fact that we have a roof over our heads. And I think it is so important to acknowledge the small and the big and the random things that we have to be thankful for each day. Recently, I wrote a list of 10 things that I am thankful for. And in this list, I included things like FaceTiming my family. I included my coffee machine, which my husband laughed at. But for me, I love waking up and knowing that I'm going to start my day with a nice coffee and a breakfast bar. That's how I start my day. But these are all small things that there are to be thankful for. Psalm 95 says this: "Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving and extol him with music and song." I think another thing that helps to change and shift our perspective and reminds us to be thankful is when we come into the presence of the Lord. It's when we come into the presence of God, we're singing and rejoicing, and we realise that there is a big God in whom we can trust and in whom has given us things that we are thankful for and that we can rejoice in. I want to encourage you to take a moment today to write a list of 10 things that you are thankful for. And you might put down really random things. It might be your pet cat that you are thankful for, or it might be something more significant, like you are thankful for hope in Jesus. But I think the more that we start writing things that we are thankful for, the more we realise, actually, these things are positive. These things are really, really worth having, and they're going to keep me going because I am so thankful for the small things. Something that my mum taught me was to find joy in the small things. And so for me, that is a cup of coffee, or it is reading a good book, or it is having a conversation with a friend. I wonder what the small things that you find joy in are. I want to encourage you, just as this psalm does, to come into the presence of God today with singing and with rejoicing and with thanksgiving. And I pray that as you do that, he would remind you of the things that there are to be thankful for in your life. I read this quote by Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was a German pastor and theologian. And he said, "It is only with gratitude that life becomes rich." I want to encourage you today to have an attitude of gratitude, an attitude that is thankful for the people and the material things in your life and the relationship with Jesus that you might have. I want to encourage you today to be thankful, to be grateful, because as Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, that is when life becomes rich. There are so many things that God has blessed us with. And my challenge and my encouragement to you today is, will you write a list of 10 things that you are thankful for? And will you come into the presence of God today, singing and rejoicing and praising and with thanksgiving? Because just as when I got to the top of the London Eye, it shifted my perspective and it changed what I saw around me. I believe that when we are thankful today, it will change the way that we perceive situations, and it will make us rejoice in what we have around us to be thankful